Now we will look at the SD 51.22, Patthana Sutta 1 and Patthana Sutta 2. The first, Patthana Sutta 1, the first discourse on yearning or wishing, A5.135. Then you have Sutta 2 is A5.136, so they kind of they come one after the other. Now here again, the two suttas, they are very close with a slight variation in theme. The two suttas compare a royal prince and a monk. Okay, this royal prince, he's a crown prince, is going to take over, and he's quite excited about it. So let's see, what does the sutta say about this? Let's look at Sutta 1 on page 134. The A.5.135. Okay, here just a reminder about when we listen to such suttas. Remember that these suttas are they are oral tradition. They're meant to be listened. So it's very important to keep our mind right. In other words, we just listen and contemplate. So in other words, these are cues for being mindful. These are our opportunity to reflect and just calmly kind of listen with curiosity, with respect, with love, with anticipation even. So when you do that, then you find this teaching will flow through. Right? So there is a way of listening where you just let sound comes in and go out and nothing happens. That's a waste of time. So this is where we have to listen attentively. It is called deep listening. We let the Dhamma sink in. So this is what the early disciples were very good for. That's how some of them, they listen and they awaken, they became arahats. And others became streamwinners. So let the Dhamma into your life, in other words, by listening to the suttas that go back to the Buddha himself in some way. But Patthana Sutta 1, the first discourse on yearning, A5.135. Section 1. Bhikshus, endowed with 5 factors, the eldest son of a head anointed Kshatriya Raja hopes or yearns for kingship. What are the 5? Here, Bhikshus, the eldest son of the head anointed Kshatriya Raja, and then the Buddha goes on to list 5 things. 1, the eldest son of the head anointed Kshatriya Raja is well born on both sides. Both. So here, he's well born both on his mother's side and his father's side. For 7 generations, at least 7 generations. Here 7 means goes very, very well far back into timeless history, if you like. With neither reproach nor defect in terms of birth. So this is typical of royalty. They kind of, they have this kind of pedigree, genealogy, which is spotless, so to speak. Number 2, he is handsome, good-looking, pleasing, endowed with the most excellent complexion. Now here we're talking about charisma, right? So when people just look at him, they like him, they're drawn to him. Number 3, to his parents, he is beloved and charming, right? So that his own parents love this crown prince. Now, why is this important? It's because he's going to become the future king. So it's very important that the parents love him. Number 4, to the town and country folk, he is beloved and charming. Right? So even the people love him too. Number 5, in matters of skills, the head anointed Kshatriya Raja, the elephant, the horse, the chariot, the bow, and the sword. In these he is fully trained. Now notice the sequence here. the first one is about him being well born. Number 2, his genealogy, the family, in other words. Number 3 is about his parents. And number 4 is about the country, the people. And number 5 is about he himself. He has his own skill. He is not someone weak, someone unskilled. And his skill in the martial arts. He knows how to use elephants. Elephants are war machines in those ancient times. The horse, or artillery, the chariot. Like he's very good with the chariot. And the bow and arrow, and the sword. So he's able to protect himself. He's a conqueror. So these are the 5 factors or 5 qualities of the crown prince. So he reflects. It occurs to him thus: I'm well born on my mother's and father's side for 7 generations, with neither reproach nor defect in terms of birth. I'm handsome, good-looking, pleasing, endowed with the most excellent complexion, and he thinks I am to my parents beloved. I am to the town and country's folk beloved and charming. So he knows this, in other words. I am in matters of the skills of the head anointed Kshatriya Raja, the elephant, the horse, the chariot, the bow and arrow, in these fully trained. Why should I not hope for or aspire to kingship? Bhikshus, endowed with these 5 factors, the eldest son of a head anointed Kshatriya Raja hopes for kingship. So it's kind of waiting for this wonderful moment when it's going to be king, because he knows fully well he's qualified. So, of course, the Buddha is not merely talking about royalty here. He's saying something very familiar to the people, and the people will say, wow, yeah, we know this one, it's very interesting. It's about power, about kingship, glory, and so on. Now the Buddha presents something which is even higher than kingship, that is spiritual freedom. He talks about the monk. Remember, when the Buddha talks about the monk, it means anyone who meditates, any practitioner. So this is in section 6. Even so, bhikshus endowed with 5 factors, a monk or meditator hopes or yearns for the destruction of mental influxes. Right, so we have to tell ourselves, yes, with this practice I want to clear away all my defilements. With what 5? Here, bhikshus, a monk, 1, has wise faith. He has faith in the Buddha's awakening thus. So too is he the Blessed One, for he is Arahat, the fully self-awakened one, accomplished in wisdom and conduct, well-farer, knower of worlds, peerless guide of tameable persons, teachers of gods and humans, awakened, blessed. Okay, so these are the 9 virtues of the Buddha, the Itipiso Gatha, or in Pali called a Navaraha Guna. So notice here, he has faith in the Buddha's awakening. He doesn't say things like, oh, the Buddha is Arahat, he still needs to awaken as a Bodhisattva. This is later totally wrong view, which we must seriously avoid, and also correct when we hear them. Number 2, he is free from illness, free from pain. He has good digestion. His body is neither too cold nor too warm, but moderate, suitable for striving. Here, meaning he keeps himself physically healthy by not overeating, by not neglecting his health, basically. Number 3, he is honest and sincere, and shows himself as he really is to teachers and to wise companions in the holy life. Right, so he is not someone who hides things, who hold back things, who lie and so on. Right, so we often find this in the business world, for example, and even sometimes in the Buddhist group we see people especially businessmen, they hold back a lot of things. They won't tell you a lot of things. So they treat Buddhism like a business too, and that's not very helpful. So at once you know, with a kind of situation, this person would not grow, would not progress spiritually. So he's honest and sincere. For he dwells energetic in abandoning unwholesome states, in promoting wholesome states, steadfast, resolute in his effort, and not shirking from the task of cultivating wholesome states. So here we see the 4 efforts summarized. He's making effort to keep his precepts, to meditate, to cultivate wisdom. Number 5, he is wise. He possesses wisdom regarding the arising and falling away of things. That is noble and penetrative, and that leads to the complete destruction of suffering. In one word, this is impermanence. He practices reflecting on impermanence. That's the basic practice. Here, notice, it's very interesting here. This 5th factor talks about wisdom, but it is defined as watching, rising and falling, and impermanence. Through watching, rising and falling, through reflecting on impermanence, wisdom arises. What does this mean? Wisdom is to see true reality, understand true reality, and to see this within ourselves and without ourselves. And that way, our life would be well moderated. We understand ourselves more fully. And we will be ready for stream winning even in this life itself. Now comes the closing part, section 8. It occurs to him, it occurs to the monk, to the meditator, to you as a practitioner. I have wise faith. I have faith in the Buddha's awakening thus. And then you have the Itipiso Bhagava and so on. Number 2, I am free from illness, free from pain. I have good digestion. My body is neither too cold nor too warm, but moderate, suitable for striving. Right, so this is when you're healthy and you're feeling good. This is a time to practice the Dharma. 3, I am honest and sincere and show myself as I really am to teachers and to wise companions in the holy life. Basically, this is called spiritual friendship. The idea of this openness has to do with meditation. The teacher will advise you what to do, what not to do to improve your meditation should you have any difficulty. 4, I dwell energetic in abandoning unwholesome states, in promoting wholesome states, steadfast, resolute in my effort, and not shirking from the task of cultivating wholesome states. 5, I am wise. I possess wisdom regarding the arising and falling away of things. That is noble and penetrative, and that leads to the complete destruction of suffering. So this last is the practice of watching impermanence. Why should I not hope for the destruction of mental influxes? Right? So this is especially for the monk, he says, I'm going to be an arahat. Of course, for the layman, you can also say the same thing, but of course, our goal is stream winning. It is still heading in the same direction. Bhikshus endowed with these 5 qualities among hopes for the destruction of the mental influxes. So here the teaching is about vision, about making this effort, this reminding us, this is what I want to do, this is my purpose in life as a Buddhist. I want to attain stream winning at this as a layperson. Now we look at Sutta 2, Patana Sutta 2, the second discourse on yearning, A 5.136. Again, the sutta starts with the crown prince and then the monk. Okay, now there's a slight variation of the details, although they're still a set of 5. Try to notice what's the difference. Section 1. Bhikshus endowed with 5 factors, the eldest son of a head-anointed Kshatriya Raja, hopes or yearns for vice royalty, to be the viceroy. Okay, so here we have the word is viceroyalty. The sutta 1 is kingship. So right in the first sutta, this crown prince said, oh, how wonderful, I'll be king one day. Whereas in the second one, it says, well, I'm going to be like a king right now. So in other words, he's going to go somewhere, maybe usually the border regions or a new kingdom that's been conquered. He's going to represent his father, the king. So it's called the viceroy. Okay, it's going to be a viceroy. So he has 5 qualities. What are the 5? Here, bhikshus, the eldest son of the head-anointed Kshatriya Raja, is well born on both the mother's and the father's side for 7 generations, with neither reproach nor defect in terms of birth. He is handsome, good-looking, pleasing, endowed with the most excellent complexion. Again, it's a statement on charisma. Number 3, to his parents, he is beloved and charming. So notice the first 3 qualities are the same as in Sutta 1. Now, quality 4 and 5 are different. Quality 4, to the whole army, he is beloved and charming. Now, this is a bit curious. Why not the people, right? Now, in the case of Sutta 1, it's clearly mentioned that the people love this crown prince because he is the king of his own country. As a viceroy, he probably will be ruling a conquered country or in some border region where he's not so well known. So he may have some difficulty because he may not kind of have the full, total respect of people, but he has the army behind him and he needs the army to be strong. So here we have a bit of politics. So the whole army loves this viceroy, this crown prince. Then number 5 is, of course, his own quality. Now, in the previous, the Sutta 1, the 5th quality is that he has martial arts, the martial skills, right? Now here he has the army behind him, but he needs to rule. He's the viceroy, so he has to rule in his father's name. So here, his 5th quality is he's learned, competent, wise, and able to consider matters of the past, the future, and the present. In other words, he's good as a ruler. So you can see it's not merely different for the sake of difference here. The suttas actually emphasize different aspects of the realities of being a crown prince. That either he's going to take over the father's role in Sutta 1, or he's going to represent the father as a ruler in Sutta 2. Right, then the next part is this crown prince reflects to himself. He says, well, I have all these qualities. I'm well born. I will summarize everything. Number 2, I'm handsome, charisma. Number 3, to my parents, I'm beloved and charming. And then number 4, the whole army loves me. And number 5, I'm learned, competent, and so on, able to rule in the name of the king. So bhikshus, these are the 5 factors of the crown prince. So this is about the world, which most of the people would know. Now in the second half of the sutta, this is a mirror sutta. You have 2 reflecting parts. The Buddha talks about the renunciant, the monk, the lay practitioner. Even so, bhikshus, endowed with 5 factors, among hopes or yearns for the destruction of the mental influxes. What are the 5? 1, here bhikshus, among is morally virtuous, he dwells restrained in keeping to the patimokkha. He is accomplished in conduct and resort, he sees danger in the slightest fault, trains in the precepts he has undertaken. Okay, so this is the first one. It's about moral virtue. Now, if you remember in the Sutta 1, the monk's quality is that of faith, right? So we already have a kind of a hint here where we're going. So in the case of Sutta 1, you can say it refers to someone who is faith inclined, whereas the Sutta 2 would be wisdom inclined. In other words, the wisdom faculty is strong. This is confirmed by factor 2. Factor brackets 2, he is deeply learned, remembers what he has heard or learned, a store of learning, the teachings that are beautiful in the beginning, in the middle, in the end, along with their meanings and phrasing, which declare the holy life, wholly complete, utterly pure. These are what he is deeply learned in, which he remembers, masters verbally, examines in his mind, penetrates rightly by view. Notice here what is meant by deeply learned. It is in the suttas, the Dharma, and these are the things that he's good in. So this is where we have to remind ourselves, especially as monks, don't get caught up with the world. Don't get caught up with your MAs and PhDs and academic salaries and work. Then you lose touch with the Dharma. Somehow you will forget, and you get caught up with the world. You're just a man parading as a monk. You're just wearing the robes, but the monkhood is lost. That'll be rather sad. So here this person is deeply learned. He knows the suttas, he practices, he keeps the precepts. 3, his mind is well established in the 4 focuses of mindfulness. He practices meditation, body-based meditation, feeling-based meditation, mind-based meditation, and Dharma-based meditation or contemplations. He's a meditator, in other words. Number 4, he dwells energetic in abandoning unwholesome states, in promoting wholesome states, steadfast, resolute in his effort, and not shirking from the task of cultivating wholesome states. So this number 4 here is similar to the Sutta 1. He is diligent. Number 5, he is wise, he possesses wisdom regarding the arising and falling away of things that is noble and penetrative, that leads to the complete destruction of suffering. Here again, 5 is the same, identical in the 2 suttas, and defined the same way, reflecting on impermanence. So here you have this person who is inclined to wisdom, going the same direction as the one who is inclined to faith. Both direct their minds to reflecting on impermanence. Now we see this same theme, this very same theme in the Anicca Chakku Sutta, where the Buddha says you can be, your faculty can be in faith or faculty can be in wisdom. Either way, if you reflect on impermanence, you will get stream winning in this life itself. So this monk, this meditator reflects, or it occurs to him, I'm morally virtuous, I'm keeping the precepts and so on. Number 2, I'm deeply learned, I'm studying the suttas and so on. And number 3, my mind is well established in meditation, especially the 4 Satipatthanas. Number 4, I dwell energetic in abandoning unwholesome states and promoting wholesome states, right efforts. And number 5, I'm wise, possessing wisdom, rooted in watching, reflecting on impermanence. Bhikshus endowed with these 5 factors among hopes for the destruction of mental influxes. So there you are. We have this kind of wish that you can make. Normally the Buddha would discourage us making such a wish, because a patthana can also mean prayer, and the Buddha says, well, these things won't work. I mean, if you really want to be awakened, you don't pray for it, you don't chant for it, you got to lead your life in such a way that it will bring that goal. So this is the one where you practice accordingly, keeping the precepts, meditating, cultivating wisdom. So do reflect on these two wonderful suttas for your own wisdom. Now let us close with a short reflection. The Buddha's teaching is still with us, reminding us how we just need to close our eyes and see more of the light within us. To close our eyes means to let go of the world, let go of distraction, and to direct all our attention, mindfulness, to the Buddha's teaching of impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and non-self. Basically, to see the rise and fall of things, to see impermanence, and in that way, we feel stronger and we are empowered to go deeper into the Buddha's teaching. Reflecting in this way is wonderful good karma, by the power of this wonderful teaching and the three jewels. May we be blessed with good health, strength, wisdom, and the courage to at least aspire to stream winning in this life itself. And by the same token, by the power of the three jewels, may our loved one, our family and friends be well and happy too. And may they see the true teaching in this life itself. By the power of the three jewels too, may those who are practicing the Dharma in the right way, may they see the fruit of it in this life itself. And by the power of the three jewels too, may those who have lost their way or teaching the wrong things, may they too see the true teaching, be inspired to follow the true teaching in this life itself. May all beings be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.